Xavier, the film opens with a vicious attack that sees Riley bitten by a vampire. I just wondered what tone this sets for the rest of the film.
Well, it's certainly a kind of action-packed opening sequence, and I think that's one of the great things that David Slade brings to the film is this really kind of fierce aesthetic, and it really sets the tone for, I think, a different kind of film, like perhaps a more mature, slightly darker film, which I think is really cool.
And can you talk us through what it's like to be a newborn vampire in the Twilight universe anyway?
Well, a newborn vampire is extremely strong and vicious and bloodthirsty, and they're only like this for the first kind of period of their transformation. So they happen to come in very handy if you're assembling an army.
And Alice gets to show off some very impressive, speedy combat moves as well. How much did you enjoy that fight training sequence?
I loved it. Growing up, I was a tomboy, and I did martial arts and kind of loved that whole world. So it was really fun to be able to kind of work with everyone and interact with everyone and learn the fight sequences and stuff like that. We worked for about 6 weeks with stunt coordinators to get everything down, and so when we finally got to do it, it was really a really good payoff.
And as the leader of the newborn army, Riley gets to throw quite a lot of people around, doesn't he? And they seem to go really far. That must have been quite a fun sequence for you to shoot.
It was actually, yeah. It's kind of cool to be throwing vampires off burning cars. I had a good time doing that.
And Alice's visions are often a bit disturbing, that they're usually very useful. But how have they been hampered in this instalment of the Twilight Saga?
The problem with Alice's vision is that they are subjective, and so people, I think, once they catch on, they have loopholes and ways to get around it, and it's a bit blurred. And also, if Alice isn't focusing on one person, things get kind of lost in translation, and so everything's a little blurry, which is kind of frustrating to Alice, I think, because it's the biggest contribution I think she has, and so it's still helpful, but maybe not as quite as specific as in Twilight.
And Xavier, without giving too much away, what can you tell us about the dynamics between Riley and Victoria, played by Bryce Dallas Howard?
Well, it's kind of an unhealthy relationship, to be honest. She's got him wrapped around her little finger, and Riley. It reminds me of this sort of Macbeth, Lady Macbeth kind of situation where basically Riley will just do anything for love, really, and that happens to be marching on the path to destruction and revenge, which like I say, isn't the healthiest of relationships.
And what's your experience of working with Bryce, very talented young actress who's a new member of the Twilight ensemble?
Well, Bryce and I hit it off from the very beginning. She's extremely professional and very talented, and we've become very, very good friends. So it was a real kind of privilege working with her, and we had a lot of time rehearsing and kind of working on these characters, and I think we were both really focused on doing the best job we could possibly do.
And Ashley, this is your third outing now as Alice. What will audiences get to see this time that they perhaps haven't seen before from her?
This one, Eclipse, was really exciting for me and for Alice because you've seen that she's very perky and optimistic, and she's a vampire, but she kind of has a heart of gold. And in Eclipse, you finally get to see her act like a real vampire and be a bit dark and dangerous and really go to bat for her family.
And do you think this film, obviously the Twilight Saga has no shortage of fans, but do you think this film might broaden the audience away from the sort of key demographic of teenage girls?
Hopefully. I think that if, especially guys, if they just give it a chance, they're really going to enjoy it. I know there's this, whole thing about Twilight, and they say it's a girls' film, but honestly, I know, my brother and my dad and my family came and they absolutely loved it.
Ashley and Xavier, thanks very much, and all the best with the Twilight Eclipse when it opens in the UK.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.